Pathmonk is the AI for website conversions. With increasing online competition, over 98% of website visitors don't convert. The ability to successfully show your value proposition and support visitors in the buying journey separates you from the competition online. Pathmonk qualifies and converts leads on your website by figuring out where they are in the buying journey and influencing them in key decision moments with relevant micro experiences like case studies, intro videos, and much more. Stay relevant to your visitors and increase conversions by 50% by adding Pathmonk to your website in seconds, letting the artificial intelligence do all the work and increasing conversions by 50% while you keep the marketing as usual. Check us out on pathmonk.com. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to today's episode of Pathmonk Presents. Today, we are joined by Pete Larkin. He's the head of marketing at Sawtooth, and he's also the chapter president of the Silicon Slopes marketing chapter. Pete, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
Doing great. Thanks, Rick. Excited to be here.
Likewise, excited to have you. So, Pete, I would just love to jump right into it. And if you could tell us a little bit about Sawtooth, what you guys are doing, and what's exciting, what's going on there.
Yeah, absolutely. Sawtooth is a survey software similar to Qualtrics. I think most people at this point are pretty familiar, but it's specifically for those who need more pro tools, more sophisticated quantitative research tools. We're working with the top researchers in the world. What's interesting is that even though a lot of our customers are using Qualtrics for other parts of their business, when it comes to quant researchers, it's kind of the industry standard. Sawtooth is. So we're working with Amazon and Google, working with Disney and Universal, and just like all the top companies that you can think of, the quant researchers, their marketing researchers are coming to us for those pro tools that they need.
Right. Okay. That's interesting. So, I have a background in UX, right? Would that be a use case for user researchers also?
100%. Yeah. And even growing, one of the kind of thought leaders in the space, Chris Chapman, he runs an event called UX Con, really well known in the space. And he is also using Sawtooth, and frequently a lot of the sessions that he teaches is using Sawtooth as well.
Got it. Okay. That's interesting. So that, it's good to know because across our listeners, I'm sure there are marketers, but many of the times it crosses over, right? So you'll do marketing, especially if you work at a startup, you wear so many different hats. So I'm sure they'll be helpful. So are there any industries do you think that are you will be able to serve best at this point in time? You've seen any patterns in terms of, who's coming to you, what problems they come in with, and how you help them solve it?
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to industries, we serve really like every aspect of research. Um, I would say when it comes more to methodologies is when Sawtooth really comes in, when you need more sophisticated methodologies. For example, conjoint analysis, max diff, and other more sophisticated tools or tool sets within the quant research space. Um, Qualtrics and SurveyMonkey and some of these other competitors, they have really incredible tools, but they just don't get as deep. They go for more of a broad use, and we get much deeper on sophisticated methodologies.
Got it. Okay. And how, so let's say, I'm a user researcher, or I need to do some marketing research. How would I typically find out about you? And I guess in a way, it would be interesting to know what kind of acquisition channels you're working with right now and, what's working best.
Yeah, it's Sawtooth is actually 40-year-old company, and in the SaaS space, in the software space, that's old, right? Like that's a long time.
Yeah.
And I need to like look up what predates floppy disks. I don't even know. Like I haven't even like looked.
The
But
bigger floppy disks, probably, right? Do
yeah,
you
it's like
remember
those
those?
fat ones. Yeah. But I mean that's where our history is, right? We were back in the days of floppy disk and CD, and now we've got a cloud product that's, top-notch cloud product. And so it has changed so much over the years. The reason I bring this up is because there hasn't actually been a lot of real sales and marketing coming from the Sawtooth side. It's grown pretty organically and a lot of through referrals and word of mouth. And it isn't until now, I just recently joined the company a couple months ago, that we really are, starting to have an actual legitimate marketing program that's working together with the sales team. So a lot of it has just been inbound organic. And now we're starting to really actually become more sophisticated in our marketing and sales.
Okay, that's interesting. So fast forward to 2025, right? Company's been around 40 plus years. Um, for you as a head of marketing, what do you think is the role of the website when it comes to attracting clients? And maybe specifically for the Sawtooth website, do you feel it has any standout strengths or maybe areas that could be improved?
Oh man, especially coming into this early when they didn't really have a marketing program or real marketing leader, there's a lot to be improved. When it comes to websites in general, like they are the face of your company, right? That is what everybody interacts with. Uh, every link, pretty much every link goes back to your website. And that's what people see and judge you on, right? And it's immediate. Within milliseconds, they're seeing you and they're either they see you and they see credibility or they discount you and they say, yeah, like these guys, they may not be professional or they may not be for us. And so we have a lot of work to do and a lot of plans in store. But first, we were really working on identifying and clarifying our current ICP, because until you do that, like no real messaging is going to land hard on your website. And so we have a really strong idea now of who our ICP is. At least I do coming in new. And now it is the messaging game, right? The design and messaging of making
Mm,
sure that our website is really representing us the way that we want to be seen, and that we're trying to manage as best we can the perception of our brand. I'm a firm believer that brand can't be controlled because it's a perception. It's the way people think or feel about you, and you can't control that. You can influence that, but you can't control it. And so that's something that we're working on our site right now.
okay. So I'm curious then, what are your plans? Because obviously, you've been there a couple months, as you said, and maybe you can draw from your experience, obviously, for this, but is there anything that you learned about what makes a great converting website in your career that maybe you can share with us? It could be tools, tips, any approaches that you recommend and you plan to implement for Sawtooth too.
Yeah, I mean, immediately there needs to be some sort of differentiation and some sort of value prop. Like they need to see what is it that you do and why do you exist? Why should people care and why should they stay? You need to give them a reason to stay. And to be honest, when you look at our site right now, anyone in our company will tell you that we don't do this very well. And so when it comes to plans, there's a lot that we need to do. We could spend a lot of time on what we need to do, but ultimately it's demonstrating our value, showing the differentiation and showing people, how are we going to help people win in their jobs? So our stories, our messaging, we really need to up the game on that.
Okay, fair enough. And I think, you start with the basics, obviously, with the fundamentals, and then maybe you get a little bit fancy as you go,
Yeah,
but that's where you start from, right?
for sure.
Um, right. So in terms of, I just want to switch gears for a second and talk about you as a leader, Pete. You've been there a couple months, right? I'm sure you're still having one-to-ones potentially with, with people, getting to know people, and because 2 months is nothing, right? Um, it could be a lot, right? Obviously, you can still make a dent and um, contribute, but at the same time, it feels like, for the first 6 months, at least speaking from personal experience here, in a new role, it just takes a while to get into it, understand the culture, bring in new ideas and whatnot. What do you do on a daily basis besides those meetings, maybe that are kind of forming you, in a way and introducing you to the company and introducing your way of thinking and potentially making an impact on the
Yeah,
strategy or the
I'm
marketing?
especially when I was, very first started, my first couple of days, it's all about jumping on calls with customers. Internal calls, trying to understand everything from an internal perspective, but like the real goal is talking with customers and understanding from their perspective, asking questions like, why do you use Sawtooth? Like what are the main reasons you use it for? And what are the main pain points that it helps you relieve? And are you happy? What can we do better? And just like a lot of questions and a lot of speaking with customers. So tons and tons of external facing calls.
It's really important to keep that it's not face to face, but that constant communication, right? Some people, especially if you work in a company, especially if you're running software that that's
Yeah.
meant for researchers, because they do a lot of that. Um, I love hearing that, there's more and more of that lately, I think, especially running these interviews, people saying, we just get on the phone, we speak to people, and I think that's admirable, but I think I would love to see more people do that instead of, just being behind a screen or you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'll tell you something I did different this time around than I have in previous roles when I was first starting. Of course, I asked for permission on this, but I recorded those calls, and then I took the transcriptions from those calls, I fed it into AI, and I would ask questions like. Um, to look for trends, right? Like find the trends in these, any specific insights that may help me. I asked for like, what are the common pain points, the common strengths, kind of a SWOT analysis there. But the recording and transcription of those, in addition to my own notes, right? I mean, I'm ferociously taking my own notes. But that transcription and the results that came through AI from that were also really enlightening. I also have a couple of questions I like to ask all the time. I like to ask, where do you get your news? Like if you want to learn something about your role and improve in your specific space and position, where do you go for that? Who do you trust as a source of information? And then, what events do you attend? What are the top events do you think um, I should be looking at, that I should be considering attending or sponsoring or something? And then I like to ask, what other thought leaders or influencers are there that you believe that I should follow if I want to level up in my career, as it pertains to the industry and space? And you get a lot of really good responses. And it's the type of stuff where, again, you can look for trends. And it's like, are you trying to figure out what events to attend in the next, 6 months, over the next year? I believe that approach, in addition to running some research through OpenAI's deep research tool, like, and then cross-referencing those things from what customers are saying and what deep research is showing, incredible ways to prioritize what events that you're going to be at.
That's a smart smart approach, I think, especially because you're trying to get into their minds in a way that, okay, what do you listen to? And so what resonates with you, right? And you get into that cycle of understanding, speaking the language, and that helps with positioning, messaging, and so on and so forth. So that's yeah, I like it. I like the questions also.
Yeah, and
Um,
it feeds into my podcast strategy as well. Sorry
of
to kind
course.
of dive deeper here. It feeds into the podcast strategy because now I know all the thought leaders, and I'm seeing trends. Who are the people that are coming up 3, 4, 5 different times? And like those are people that I'm probably going to want to know, build a relationship with, maybe invite to be on my podcast, things like that.
Makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Um, Pete, obviously enjoyed speaking with you so far, but we're coming towards the end of the interview. So we want to jump into that's what we like to do. We jump into a rapid fire question segment.
Yeah,
And the only unspoken rule that we have is that, for a crisp question, we want a crisp answer. Would you be ready for
sure,
that?
sure.
All right. So what's the last book you read?
His fantasy book, and I was reading it. It's my son. I'm trying to remember Magnus Chase book. He likes to read, like I like to read what he's reading, so we can talk about it together. Last business book that I read, I think, was Experience Design. It was a reread by Matt Durden.
Love that. If there are no boundaries in technology, what's one thing that you want to have fixed for your role today?
No boundaries on of technology to fix some, wow, that's a great question. Oh, no boundaries. I mean, this is like
Mm.
almost like near magic, right? So we're talking
Yes.
like AI connected to like Neuralink, where like AI can connect to my brain, right? Just to like help complete tasks that are on my list that I need to get done that AI can do, but I just like either don't take the time to do. But I'd say like Neuralink to AI for task completions.
All right, that's a good one. I gotta make a quick note. That's one of the most creative answers we got so far.
That's a big
Considering that no
question. It's a
boundaries,
big
right? So
question.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. That's good. I like it. Um, what's one piece of advice you would give yourself if you could restart your journey as a marketer today?
Spend more time with your family, no doubt. There were a lot of, soccer games and dance recitals and things that I absolutely should have gone to. And I regret not going to more of those things. And business, like I respect dad wins and mom wins 100 times more than I respect business wins. So at the end of the day, your family will be there, and your bit like the businesses, the money that you bring in, like it's nowhere near as valuable as those family relationships.
I love it. That's a really great message. I appreciate that. As a dad myself, I'm 100% with you.
Yeah. Thanks,
So,
Rick.
Pete, I want to thank you a lot for being on the show with us today, and I want to give you the last word. So, if someone forgets everything about the interview today, what's one thing that they should remember about your company, Sawtooth, and the work you're doing?
When it comes to Sawtooth, I definitely say it will help you uncover the insights that you don't know are there and to help you achieve greater things, better connect with your customers. It's incredible the things that our customers are doing, that are using software, our software to build and to create and to improve their businesses. On a personal note, I would just say, like, relationships are what matter, similar to the family note that I shared previously. But when we build together, we grow together. And so don't build in a silo, like build community, find people around you, and you'll go so much faster. You'll build so much better when you're building with people.
Let's leave it at that. That's a beautiful message again. Pete, thanks again, and we hope to see you again soon on the show. And where could people find you, find Sawtooth if they wanted to get in touch?
Find me on LinkedIn, just search Pete Larkin, you'll find me there. I think I may even be wearing the same shirt in my profile picture. And then just sawtooth.com.
Amazing. There you go then. Thanks again, Pete. See
Thanks,
you next
Rick.
time. Bye
Appreciate it.
bye.
See ya.